Hey guys, let's do a cauliflower mash or cauliflower puree, or some people say mashed potatoes. Who are we kidding? Potatoes taste like potatoes, cauliflower tastes like cauliflower, but it's an awesome substitute. So I'm gonna show you some tricks of the trade to make sure that A, it's got a ton of flavor, it's got a nice consistency, and one of the problems with it is, that I've heard, is it can be a little soupy or grainy. We're gonna fix both of those problems. Now to start, we're gonna take a head of fresh cauliflower. If you wanna buy some bagged or frozen cauliflower, that's fine. But here's how I'll break this down. This is about a 2-pound head, so we're gonna get rid of the leaves. So just using your knife tip, we're gonna go around the stalk, removing these leaves. And then just starting from the top down, just start breaking it apart. Working from the stalk out. And you'll see a leaf or two fall in there, and we'll get those later. And we'll cut that off. Now we're gonna save this because we are gonna use it. It's got a ton of flavor. It's made up of the same stuff this is, but we're gonna break these down into some manageable pieces so that they will cook and soften. So you can see this whole thing is going to take just a few minutes to break down a whole head. So for me, using fresh cauliflower is worth the extra minute to break it down. So we want these into roughly equal sized pieces. Now obviously there's going to be some smaller ones, and we'll throw those in there anyway, but we kind of want to try to get it all cooked at the same time. Fish out any leaves that made it past the original cleaning. And if a leaf sneaks in there, that is not the end of the world. They're not poisonous. So we'll clean up our cauliflower crumbles, get those in there. I paid for it, I want to make sure I use it all. And now we've got this stalk. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off the end's a little bit woody, so we'll get rid of that. And we'll clean this end up a little bit. Then we'll kind of stand it up, and we'll just kind of shave down till we're into the core of the stalk. About like that's good. We'll throw that in the trash side. And now we will split that stalk and cut it into sticks and in half, and that goes in with the cauliflower. And this literally has the same flavor as the florets, and if we cut it down to a small enough piece, it will cook at the same time. So I have a pot of water on the stove that's boiling. It's salted water. We're gonna throw this in there 10 minutes-ish, and what I'm gonna do is check it periodically with a knife so that the knife goes in and out without any real resistance. And we'll meet you back and show you how we process this and turn it into a really tasty cauliflower mash. Back in a minute. All right, so cauliflower's been boiling for 10 minutes or so, and what we're gonna do is just take a piece and just, so you can see the fork goes in, no resistance. There's a piece of the stalk, that's good. It's a little more firm, but it's gonna be okay. So I call this done. So let me show you the trick to making the best cauliflower mash. All right, so very, very carefully, guys. We've got a lot of hot boiling water here. We're going to take this over to a colander. What I like to do is pour off as much water as I can first, let it drain, and that way when the cauliflower hits, it's not splashing and hitting me in the face. Make sure you don't get your face right over this pot. You can see there's a lot of steam. Okay, so we got most of the water out. Go ahead and drain the rest of that into there. And we're good to go. Get yourself either some cheesecloth, a lint-free tea towel. I like to use, these are flour sack towels. And I just get these at the grocery store. And when I wash them, I bleach them and kind of keep them just for this purpose. So I'm not cleaning or wiping down counters with these towels. So every time they're used, these particular ones are used for food and then washed with bleach. So we let that drain as much as we can, and we're gonna plop that right into the middle. We have to work reasonably quick here, guys, because from here on out, we're not gonna heat this anymore. So we get this gathered up in here. Now here's one way you can do it is gather this over, gather all the ends, and then just start pressing down with a spatula. And we really need to get as much of the water out as we can. If you happen to be a barbecue guy, is I get my heat-proof gloves and then just wring it out. Look at the amount of water coming out of that. And so, even without the heat-proof gloves, you want to keep trying to get that tightened and twisted down as tight as you can, and just keep wringing it. Look at the water. Look at that. Cauliflower holds an amazing amount of water. But look at that. So you can also see the volume of cauliflower shrinking drastically. So a whole head of cauliflower is going to make 2 to 3 servings. So this is a little on the carby side, but you'll see it's going to be really, really good. So we're going to take this directly to the food processor. I'll meet you there. So we're going to take the squeezed and drained cauliflower and drop it all into. Now this is one reason I like to use these towels versus cheesecloth, is you don't waste very much. If you use cheesecloth, a lot of it gets wasted getting stuck in the weave of the cheesecloth. Put about a teaspoon of salt in there. And what I have, here's the other secret, about an ounce of cream cheese and about a tablespoon of butter, maybe a little heavy on that. But the cream cheese really gives it a nice creamy texture. So we'll get that in there. The other thing we're going to do is, earlier today I roasted some garlic. You just cut the top off your garlic, keep the root end together so that holds this all together. I made a little boat out of aluminum foil to hold it up, and then you just put some olive oil on it and put it in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Now what's nice is you can just take this paper, this is all cooled now, and you can just squeeze these out. Now if you haven't tried roasted garlic before, try not to get the paper in. If you haven't tried roasted garlic before, it's got a much more mild flavor than raw garlic. And of course you can use raw garlic here, but so you just kind of squeeze, get the chunks of garlic out, and you get this nice buttery sweet roasted garlic flavor. It's not nearly as harsh as raw garlic. If you were going to use real garlic, fresh garlic, I'd recommend maybe just a clove. So you can see all of those just squeezed right out of there. And now what we're going to do is just spin it up until it's the right consistency. Now and then you want to kind of stop, check it, and maybe kind of straighten down the sides. You grab that spatula I had and just make sure it's all getting incorporated in there. And then just another second or so. And we should be in good shape here now. We'll just move this over to a bowl. this is all really good stuff. I don't want to waste any of it. So here is our cauliflower mash. And you can see it's not watery at all. It has more of the consistency of what I would call whipped potatoes. But it has a really nice flavor and texture. At this point, of course, you'd want to check it for salt. And if we were a little light-handed earlier, let's check. Seems right on to me. It's got a nice buttery, creamy texture and flavor. I think you guys will really, really, really like this, and this will pair good with or without the brown gravy. I usually just serve it just like this. You can serve it with the meatloaf. You can serve it with the steak Diane. And then anywhere you would just use mashed potatoes, honestly. I've used this making Chef's Treat. I've also used this when I've made the low carb version of Jaeger schnitzel, which will be another video coming up, which if you haven't tried a Jaeger schnitzel before, it's a great German dish, but that's another show. All right, so this is ready to go. If you did need to hold this, what I might do is cover it with aluminum foil, put it on a pot of boiling or simmering water over the stove, make kind of a double boiler out of it. But you don't want this necessarily on the stove over direct heat. So there's your cauliflower mash. Again, that's 3 to 4 servings. It's a little carby because it's a whole 2-pound head of cauliflower. It's a nice treat every now and then, though. Enjoy it.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf!
Hey guys, how are you doing today? Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video on the cauliflower mash. Looks like it's got a couple steps, but it really is pretty easy. The main thing is just get all the water out and add the cream cheese and the butter, and that really gives it a creamy kind of a whipped potato texture. Well worth trying and doing. I've served it to non-keto guests who've loved it, and I've done it with as a bed for braised short ribs. Obviously there's going to be a meatloaf recipe coming, and you saw it in the steak Diane recipe. So I also just recently posted a picture of it in a ramekin, done twice baked style. So I wanted to put this little addition onto the end of the video, kind of explain real quick why and how I did it. It's probably pretty self-explanatory, but I thought I'd run through it real quick. In the original version, it's never heated again after we've taken the cauliflower out of the boiling water. So it needs to be served pretty darn quickly. Now, it could probably be reheated just fine in a casserole dish later, but as far as making it as a true go-ahead dish, that's kind of where the twice baked thing came in. So what I did is I just took the cauliflower mash as it was prepared in the video and add, well, I didn't really measure, but I added some sour cream. If I were gonna guess, probably about a half a cup of sour cream. And I chopped up a mess of chives. You can also use green onion top. And I mixed in, a couple handfuls of cheddar cheese into it, okay? Then you can either spoon that mixture into some, I have these 8-ounce ramekins, which make great individual serving size. Or if you are going somewhere where there might be a gathering, like, I don't know, Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you wanted to have a keto option on the table, obviously you could do it in a casserole dish too. And that's actually my plan for this coming Thanksgiving. And then once it's in there, then you just sprinkle it with some more cheese. And I did it a couple different ways, one with just cheddar, one with a mix of cheddar and some, I think I had some provolone left. Yeah, just throw in there whatever you want. Pop it in a 350-degree oven until it heats through and browns. And the addition of the sour cream, the chives. Oh, I forgot one other thing. I chopped up a mess of bacon and put it in there too. So all the stuff you would have like on a loaded baked potato. And if you've ever had twice baked potatoes, you know the effect I'm going for there. And it really came out really, really good. So I wanted to just do this little addition to the end of the video just to throw that on there for you. It makes it a much easier go ahead or make ahead dish that you can take somewhere and reheat. And that way you're not having to try to time this to have it on the table while it's still hot in the original version. Both are great. I just wanted to give you this option. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. And I hope you like it. Take care.